Hey guys, so earlier Nintendo announced a Direct, and it's pretty exciting since this is gonna be 60 minutes long. That is absolutely insane. I know the April Direct was 60 minutes, but this is just a regular September Direct. I think there's a lot of opportunities to announce stuff here. I'm not gonna get my hopes too high. I mean, maybe my predictions will say otherwise, but I am still setting my expectations reasonably because sometimes we have been disappointed by long directs. But I do think there's definitely the potential to show off a lot of interesting things here. It's also going to be on a Friday as well, which works out for me since I don't have classes that day. So I'm going to get into some of my hopes and predictions here. And my first prediction is a pretty wild one. It's actually Wario Land 7. I'm kind of starting off a bit boldly here. But so far for the Switch 2, we've gotten Donkey Kong Bonanza, as well as Kirby Air Riders coming soon. So it seems like Nintendo wants to bring back a lot of series that they haven't really released games for in quite a while. Some of those slightly more niche. I mean, Donkey Kong isn't niche. Donkey Kong is very popular, but like compared to like 3D Mario, that still is a pretty bold move from Nintendo. So I could see them kind of continuing to go in that direction with something like Wario Land releasing next year. Obviously, this wouldn't be as big of a scale as like Donkey Kong Bonanza. It probably would be 2D, but it would be really nice to see it. I do think there are some developers that could be developing this. So I think that would be nice if we got a new Wario Land game. And next up, I think we'll also get some new information about some of the games that we already know that are very likely releasing next year, like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. At this point, I feel like that's probably January, maybe December, but I think that might be early on in the year next year. And I also think we're going to get some new information about Rhythm Heaven Groove and Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I think both of those games are going to get Switch 2 editions. It just only makes sense from a marketing perspective, even if those games aren't really taking advantage of the Switch 2. I feel like they'll probably have 4K for Rhythm Heaven. That game could easily run in 4K on the Switch 2. Maybe even mouse controls in these games. But I could see Rhythm Heaven releasing in February, and Tomodachi Life releasing in March. Those kind of seem like safe bets for when those will release. And then, I think we're going to get Switch 2 updates for a lot of different games. They'll probably do like a sizzle reel, or even like a big list of like a lot of games that will be compatible, kind of like how they did back in April. But I think this will include games like Thousand Year Door, Xenoblade X, different things like that, maybe even Origami King as well, but just to update those games to run at 60 FPS, maybe even 4K with upscaling. I definitely think that's possible that we'll see something like that. And then for Switch 2 editions, I think one that is very likely is Pikmin 4. Nintendo really likes to push Pikmin quite a lot. Like, even when there's not much going on with Pikmin, they still find a way to kind of reference it. So I definitely think it's possible that we could get a Switch 2 edition for Pikmin 4, maybe adding a new area, new challenges, different things like that. I think that would be nice. They could even announce it for later in September. I feel like that might be something that could release fairly soon, since those Switch 2 editions are fairly low profile compared to larger releases, since they're basically glorified DLC. And then, I think we could also see some information about Splatoon Raiders as well. I think it will be an action survival type game. Maybe even open world, or at least semi-open world, at least an area that you can kind of roam and explore. And I think you'd also be able to craft and upgrade weapons, since I believe the character that you play as in the game is a mechanic, so that would make a lot of sense. And you could find different materials throughout the world, and then also incorporate the base Splatoon mechanics in there. So I think that will release in the spring next year, probably around April or May, but we'll probably get a release window in this Direct if it's not releasing this year, or like immediately next year, like in January or February. I think it's probably going to be like in the spring, I'm thinking. And then moving on to the Mario 40th anniversary, I think they're going to have like a segment for this, like everything related to Mario and like the Mario anniversary could be in here. This could even be saved for the end. Like if they have, like if my big idea in here ends up being a thing. But of course, I think we'll get something like a Mario Kart World update, maybe adding like Donkey Kong characters like Void Kong, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, K. Rool, Dixie Kong, ones like that. We could even get like more Mario characters as well, like Talking Flower and Prince Florian, and I'll cope for the Mario RPG characters. I know they're unlikely, but I wish they show up at some point. At least Frost Piranha, since the model's already in the game. But speaking of the Mario RPGs, I think we could get a Switch 2 edition for Mario Luigi Brothership. I know a lot of people are saying that we could get a Switch 2 edition for Wonder, and I think that is definitely likely as well. But if my big thing for the anniversary that I think might happen ends up becoming a thing, I don't think that is as likely, because it involves EPD 10. But a Brothership Switch 2 edition would be great. They could add like a new side mode starring Bowser Jr. and Buddy. I mean, maybe have it control a little similarly to the base game rather than like the Bowser's Minions and Bowser Jr.'s Journey modes from the remakes. Just have it star Bowser Jr., the kind of bit reminiscent of those modes, but keep the core gameplay of Mario and Luigi. That's all I hope from that. But I think that could release like in October, not too far from now. But then, for another thing, something comparable to 3D All-Stars, I think we could also get Super Mario Galaxy 2 HD. I know this is another one that a lot of people are like coping for, but honestly, I think this is relatively realistic. I think it could be a shadow drop, kind of like how Metroid Prime Remastered was, and could get a physical release later on, or they could do the 3D All-Stars thing, like have it released like a week or two from when it's announced, and like still have like a physical release and everything like at the same time as the digital release. I think that would make a lot of sense. Either that or a new Super Mario Bros. Collection. I know there was that one fake leak a while ago, but a new Super Mario Bros. Collection also seems probable as well. I don't really see them bringing back the original 3D All-Stars, since like, if they're going to include Galaxy 2, 2 out of the 4 games that would be included in it would already be on Nintendo Switch Online, since they're adding Sunshine fairly soon. They might even announce that Sunshine will be a shadow drop in this Direct as well, since that's one of the upcoming games. So I highly doubt they're going to bring back 3D All-Stars. I think it's probably just going to be Galaxy 2, or Galaxy 1 and 2, which would kind of be a bit scummy for people who already bought 3D All-Stars, but Nintendo doesn't care sometimes. Realistically, though, I think it will just be Galaxy 2. Then, for the big thing that they could possibly announce for the Mario 40th anniversary, I'm kind of iffy on this one, but it still makes a lot of sense at the same time, and that would be Mario Maker 3, or that Mario Studio idea I had a while ago. That Mario Studio idea is basically like a combination of Mario Maker, Mario Paint, and Mario Artist. Like, has everything there, like including even things like video recording with the camera, just a lot of like crazy things. You like basically make like anything you want inside of this Mario Studio type game. Like a modern day Mario Paint, basically. I think that would be a pretty cool idea. Kind of unlikely at this point, because I think they would have announced it sooner if like something on that scale would be a thing. But Mario Maker 3 would still be really nice to see. I know it hasn't been that long since EPD 10 has released, or developed a game that Nintendo has released, but they could be co-developing it with like Nintendo software technology, as well as other developers, to kind of make this process go a bit smoother if this game is actually a thing. But Mario Maker 3 would be really cool to see like a 3D Mario Maker tool, like 3D World, Mario 64. I think it would probably be fairly limited, but would still be pretty cool to see. But Mario Maker would just make a lot of sense with how much Nintendo has been pushing the mouse mode with the Switch 2. So I think that's a potential, like, big Mario release for the 40th anniversary. I think it's a bit too early for 3D Mario. And then finally, I think there could be a Mario Movie 2 cast and character teaser. I don't think they're going to have an actual trailer here. They might announce a trailer, like they could say, like, oh, in October we'll have a Mario Movie 2 Direct. They could do something like that, or like they'll at least formally announce the movie here, like the title, like a general kind of synopsis. Just a very vague, like, kind of idea here. Just a very small teaser for this movie, like maybe like 1 or 2 characters that are teased, but I could definitely see it happening. And then we'll probably get some more information about Metroid Prime 4. It's kind of crazy that we haven't been getting, like, any updates on this game for a while. Some people think it's going to be delayed at this point, but since it's been rated in multiple countries, I think it's still going to release this year. They might even, like, release it fairly soon, like have a very short kind of window between now and when it releases. I'm thinking it could possibly be October. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but the gap between when they revealed some games in the April Direct to when they actually released also wasn't that long, so I could still see them, like, releasing Metroid Prime 4 in October. We already know a lot about the game, so really they only kind of have to show off some of the, like, the last things and when it releases, so I could still see it happening, like, this year. Then I think we'll get a Kirby Air Riders segment as well, meaning that the video that I'm currently making about characters that I want to see in the game could be outdated. Hopefully they only reveal like 1 or 2 characters here. Hopefully not too many, so my video isn't like immediately outdated, but definitely would be pretty exciting to see more footage of that game, since that is my most anticipated game right now. Absolutely incredible, but we already know when that's releasing, so I don't really need to say much about that. And then, I think we'll probably get a chunky section of third-party games, kind of like the April Direct, maybe not quite as long as the April Direct, since I do think we're going to get a little more in terms of first-party here, since they haven't revealed too much lately in terms of first-party. But I still think third party will have like a decently good presence here. We'll probably see release dates for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Elden Ring. Hopefully Elden Ring's like December or something. I mean, it looks better from what we've seen, like some of the more recent footage, but it still needs some work. Final Fantasy VII does look good, so I think that could be in October or November. But hopefully Elden Ring looks better and releases in December, so it gets enough time. I also think we could get like a short segment on the Duskbloods as well, the FromSoft game that's releasing exclusively on the Switch 2. We could see more of that, maybe a release window. Then Baldur's Gate 3, I think that makes a lot of sense. It could work well with the Switch 2's mouse mode. That just makes a lot of sense. It was the game of the year as well. So then Metaphor ReFantazio, I think that's also likely as well. We've already seen the Persona 3 Reload in the partner showcase, so I think this is the other Atlas game that a lot of people are expecting. Then Red Dead Redemption 2, I think that's been rumored multiple times. I'm not sure how likely it is, but I could definitely see that happening. Like, that probably won't be a hard game to get running on the Switch 2. I mean, it released quite a while ago. And then the Resident Evil 4 Remake, I think that could also be happening as well. Something Resident Evil related. I think we could get something fairly soon. But yeah, those are kind of my predictions for what we'll see in terms of third-party games. And then the final last announcement here, I think will probably be Animal Crossing. That just makes a lot of sense, since it's been like over 5 years, now pushing 6 years, well, by the end of the year, that we've gotten our last Animal Crossing game. So Animal Crossing would also be something great to have early on, considering how popular it is. So, I think we'll probably get a teaser trailer from that. Maybe not any gameplay, since Nintendo doesn't... Like, they usually like to show, like, a teaser for their in-house games, and then show gameplay later on. So we'll probably get, like, a cinematic teaser, and then we'll see more information about it next year. So I think they could just end it off with that. But, yeah, those are some of my predictions. Some of them are pretty bold, like Wario Land, maybe even the Brothership Switch 2 edition, or Mario Maker 3. Yeah, I mean, some of these are pretty far-fetched, but this is a long direct, and Nintendo does really have to get the ball rolling in terms of first-party releases for the Switch 2. I mean, I really hope they've learned their lesson not to, like, slow down after the initial launch hype, so hopefully they do have some interesting things to show here. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!